Alright, our first endocrine organ. We're going to start with the big one, which is actually a pretty small organ. I'm talking about the pituitary gland. This little guy is found in the brain, just below the hypothalamus, and can be divided into two parts, the anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary. The pituitary gland is often called the master gland, as a lot of its hormones cause other endocrine glands to release their hormones. The anterior pituitary gland releases thyroid-stimulating hormone, follicle-stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, and luteinizing hormone, as well as prolactin, all of which stimulate other organs to release their endo and exocrine hormones. It also releases growth hormone, which causes us to grow. Look at Andre the Giant for an example of what happens when you have too much GSH, and follicle-stimulating hormone, which causes the ovaries to release their eggs. The posterior pituitary gland is responsible for the antidiuretic hormone, which tells our kidney to hold on to fluid and not make as much urine, as well as oxytocin, which is the hormone involved in that positive feedback loop during childbirth. Oxytocin is also released when people touch or hug, and it's known to help strengthen the mother-infant bond after birth. That's why as soon as a baby's born, they should go right on their mother's chest. It's often called the cuddle hormone. Moving up, we have the hypothalamus. Yes, you're right. The hypothalamus is part of the brain, but not only does it regulate temperature, appetite, and thirst, it also produces oxytocin and ADH. The oxytocin and antidiuretic hormones are created in the hypothalamus, then travel down to the posterior pituitary gland, where they are from there released to circulation. Moving down the line, we have the pineal gland, which sits behind the medulla oblongata. The pineal gland is responsible for secreting melatonin and basically helps regulate our internal clock. Dark lights, or the activation of the rods in our eyes, which respond to dim light, cause this gland to secrete melatonin, which makes us sleepy and get ready for bed. It's a big reason for seasonal affective disorder. Rates of depression tend to increase in the winter, partly because this gland gets overactive and makes us sleepy all the time. You've probably heard of melatonin being used as a sleep aid. It's commonly heard from. And it's particularly helpful for shift workers who have to sleep during the day. Lastly, we have the two endocrine glands found in the neck, the thyroid and the parathyroid gland. These glands are located just below your thyroid cartilage, which is in the middle of your neck, and just below your Adam's apple. The thyroid cartilage releases thyroxine, which is used to increase cellular metabolism, and calcitonin, which is used to put the body's excess calcium that's in the blood back into the bones. The parathyroid releases parathyroid hormone, which pulls the calcium from the bones when we don't have enough in the blood. The balance of calcium provided by the thyroid and parathyroid hormone is a great example of the body maintaining homeostasis.